Pratibha Patil. Today we are going to learn very interesting and new story in English, and that is topic number 4.4, a mad tea party. This extract is taken from a fantasy novel Alice in Wonderland written by Lewis Carroll. So let's first know about writer. Lewis Carroll was born on 27 January 1832 and died on 14 January 1898. He was an English novelist and poet. He is best known as the author of the children's book Alice in Wonderland is a fantasy novel written by Lewis Carroll. It tells us of the adventures of a little girl called Alice who falls into a rabbit hole and finds herself in a fantasy world where funny people mingled with strange creatures. Here she happens to attend a tea party with three of them: the March Hare, the Mad Hatter, and the Dormouse. The present story deals with Alice, a young girl who wanders in a wonderland where she saw three animals behaving like human beings and having a tea party in which Alice also joins without invitation. So let's see what happens in the story. Once Alice was surprised by seeing a white rabbit who was talking like a human being. She followed the rabbit through a hole and arrived at a place called Wonderland. There was a table set out under a tree in front of the house, and the March Hare and the Hatter were having tea at it. A dormouse was sitting between them, fast asleep, and the other two were using it as a cushion, resting their elbows on it and talking over its head. Very uncomfortable for the dormouse, thought Alice, only as it's asleep. I suppose it doesn't mind. The table was a large one, but the three were all crowded together at one corner of it. No room, no room, they cried out when they saw Alice coming. There's plenty of room, said Alice indignantly, and she sat down in a large armchair at one end of the table. Have some wine, the March Hare said in an encouraging tone. Alice looked all around the table, but there was nothing on it but tea. I don't see any wine, she remarked. There isn't any, said the March Hare. Then it wasn't very civil of you to offer it, said Alice angrily. It wasn't very civil of you to sit down without being invited, said the March Hare. I didn't know it was your table, said Alice. It's late for a great many more than three. She found wonderful and beautiful things in the Wonderland. She saw a big table laid in front of the house under a tree. The three animals, March Hare, Hatter, and Dormouse, were sitting on that table. They were going to have a tea. And when they saw Alice, they ignored her as she was not invited in the party. When she moved towards them, they cried, "No room, no room." But still, Alice joined them on that table. Soon after, the madness and impolite behavior of the three animals became clear and evident when they offered wine to the Alice. But there was nothing like that around the table. Alice told March Hare angrily that it was not polite of you to offer it when it was not available here. Then the March Hare replied her, "It wasn't polite of you to sit here without being invited." "Your hair wants cutting," said the Hatter. He had been looking at Alice for some time with great curiosity, and this was his first speech. "You should learn not to make personal remarks," Alice said with some severity. "It's very rude." The Hatter opened his eyes very wide on hearing this, but all he said was, "Why is a ribbon like a writing desk? Come, we shall have some fun now," thought Alice. "I'm glad they have begun asking riddles. I believe I can guess that," she added aloud. "Do you mean that you think you can find out the answer to it?" said the March Hare. "Exactly so," said Alice. "Then you should say what you mean," the March Hare went on. "I do," Alice hastily replied. At least I mean what I say. That's the same thing, you know." "Not the same thing a bit," said the Hatter. "You might just as well say that I see what I eat is the same thing as I eat what I see. You might just as well say," added the March Hare, "that I like what I get is the same thing as I get what I like." Alice sighed wearily. "I think you might do something better with the time," she said, "than waste it in asking riddles that have no answers." "If you knew time as well as I do," said the Hatter, "you wouldn't talk about wasting it. It's him." "I don't know what you mean," said Alice. "Of course you don't," the Hatter said, tossing his head contemptuously. "I dare say you never even spoke to time." "Perhaps not," Alice consciously replied, "but I know I have to beat time when I learn music." It was going on like that. Then, after some time, they asked her some meaningless riddles to answer, such as, "Why is a crow like a writing desk?" After that, they asked, "I see what I eat is the same thing I eat what I see." Same way, "I breathe when I sleep is the same thing I sleep when I breathe." Like this, many riddles they asked to the Alice. The conversation continued for some time. Then Alice was tired by all this. And when she said this all to them, they disrespected and insulted her. Then they started to talk about music. But that is also like meaningless riddles. A bright idea came into Alice's head. Is that the reason so many tea things are put out here? She asked. Yes, that's it, said the Hatter with a sigh. It's always tea time and we have no time to wash the things between whiles. Then you keep moving round, I suppose, said Alice. Exactly so, said the Hatter, as the things get used up. But what happens when you come to the beginning again? Alice ventured to ask. Suppose we change the subject. The March Hare interrupted, yawning. I'm getting tired of this. I vote the young lady tells us a story. Then Alice got an idea. She asked that why so many things are left on the table. Then they said that it was always tea time for them and they not have time to wash things between whiles. Then Alice asked like that questions to them. Then again they started to insult the Alice. After some time, Alice left the party. It was really a mad tea party because the three animals asked indecent and meaningless questions whose answers they themselves don't know. Let's know about new words from the story. Fantasy, imagination, mingle, mix, peculiar, odd or strange, indignantly, angrily, but accept, civil, polite, curiosity, eager, desire to know or learn something, severity, harshness, hastily, hurriedly, dropped, stopped, wearily, in a tired manner, contemptuously, a feeling of dislike, cautiously, paying attention to warning or for the safety. Next, to accounts for, provide to an explanation for, to not stand, to not tolerate, keep on good terms means keeps in a good relations. Next, instance means a particular situation. In a twinkling means in a very short time. Next, ventured means dares. In this way, today we studied a story which reveals the experience of young girl Alice. She wanders about in a wonderland where she saw the animals who talks and behave like human beings. It also shows the strength of three animals who have arranged a party under a tree in front of house. I hope you understood the story. Thank you.